Well, welcome back to day number 2. I told you that I was going to put some tape on here and put the black paint in. So let's see how it looks. It looks, until you pull the tape off, it looks pretty messy. But it comes off easily after just a couple of hours of drying time. And the goal here was to frame the Rosemaling and be able to still have what we thought was a blue trunk with just black accents, and it worked pretty well. The reason I have the big black bands on the side here is, in the old days, when people were coming from Norway to America, their trunk had to endure a lot of rough handling. And so they had steel bands across the lid in order to keep it from cracking. And so that's what these black tracks are for. They're supposed to simulate the iron bands that were on the trunk. I've used a lot of paper tape, and it looks like I've got a really good result. But there are a couple of tricks and tips that I have for you regarding using this type of masking. One is that we need to really pay attention to the surface preparation for the painting. By that I mean the Rosemaling has layers of paint, and you're going to have to there we go. It helps to have good long fingernails to strip this tape. As you can see, I haven't put the red accent strip on the chest yet. But let's talk a little bit about the surface. I went to Home Depot and bought the paint that I thought best matched the original color that it was painted. Then I brought it home and discovered that the one coat coverage of that expensive paint didn't really soften out the brush marks. So I had to come back and sand it. But then I had to come back and sand it anyway to get the shine off so that my design will function on this. So it's been coated with, just recently, 4 coats of blue paint, and I sanded in between to get rid of the ridges of some of the brush marks. And then the last time that I sanded with very light 220 grit sandpaper. And so you get this kind of result. But now the last coat of paint I put on, I used a foam brush. And the foam brush leaves a lot less brush marks behind. So I recommend that. I recommend that you don't buy the most expensive paint with 1 coat coverage, because on horizontal surfaces, it doesn't seek its own level. It sits kind of lumpy. So the expensive stuff is not what you want. You don't want the cheap stuff because it's transparent and you want to give you good coverage. So you have to look for something in the middle, and what you want is an eggshell finish, because that's the easiest way to get paint adhesion and and still have a little bit of shine, a little glow to the surface. So that's what we're going to do next. Is we're going to paint this red accent strip all the way around, and then probably do the red accent strip inside this large frame up here, and inside these frames here, and on the sides and on the back. Then we'll be ready to go ahead and do our design. And so I'll have a full day ahead of me tracing the designs onto all of these different surfaces. And there's always touch-up. So you might have an area that you want to sand a little bit more, and then do some touch-up paint. But the idea is that we're going to treat this. Also, I don't know what I'm going to do on the ends. There's scalloped ends here, and I'll have to do something to accent that. But I don't know what yet. And maybe you will suggest something to me before I do it. Because I'm on YouTube, and I think you can contact me with any suggestions or questions. So that's it for today. I'll see you tomorrow when it's time to put the line drawings on here, and then I'm going to show you how that looks. One thing that I did is I tried some colors that I thought might be good with a blue background, and these are some of the Norwegian style paintings. Let me turn it up. I'm not sure which way is up top or bottom. Try that. I think that's the right way. So I like the orange, and I like the yellow, and even the light blue shows up nicely against the dark blue. So this was the concept board, and I did just to look at the colors. Here we've got the green plants, and here we've got the red plants, blue plants, and they both contrast with the red and orange. So I think that what we're going to put on our trunk is going to be some of these colors, but not this design. I picked another design that has a large design like this to go on the top and on the front, and then matching designs that are smaller, one a little smaller to go on the back, and one a lot smaller to go on the ends, but they'll all be of the same design style. They'll all fit together. So what we're going to do first, when we get to that, is we're going to try the colors out on this pattern that I've already traced. And then that will be a reference to look at as we decide which colors. See, there's no colors on here. We have to decide which colors go into which swirl or which flower. That's another challenge. But that's part of Rosemaling, is you get to look at these challenges and decide what to do. And that's why I said to you that I was glad you were here to join me, because this is going to be a finished project. I'm determined to finish it. I painted today on cardboard, but I didn't want the paint to stick to the cardboard. So I found some wood scraps to set the trunk on, just to get it up away from the cardboard. And so we'll see what happens. I'll do a little touch up. I have some chalk lines. I used a chalk pencil to set my lines and then lay the tape down on those lines. So I'll have to rub out the chalk before we do the next step. I thank you for joining me today. We're working on a Rosemaling project, and it will be interesting to see how it develops. Goodbye. Come again.